Thank you for staying tuned to Breakfast Weekend. Now, our guest of the week today is someone you'd love to meet. He's a movie producer, he's an actor himself, and he directs quite seamlessly, taking all these roles like rice and beans. I'm talking about none other than Kunle Afolayan. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Well, a bit of pressure, but I'm okay.
That comes with the job.
It comes with a job.
Okay, let's start from how you handle these three roles that I talked about: acting, directing, producing. Something that other people do in the Nigerian movie industry, and it seems to take some quality of the material they eventually produce. How do you handle the pressure?
Well, for me, I think it's inborn. That's the only way I can say it, because I studied some other people who are quite good, you know, in balancing all of this. I mean, wearing these three hats. My father is a typical example, you know. In fact, in his case, he is also the writer most times. And a lot of international films that I've also seen, someone like Jackie Chan would do his stunts, he would produce, he would direct. There's so many people. The thing is, I try to pay a lot of attention to details, and I take my time in doing adequate pre-production. If your pre-production is well, it's not just about me, it's about working with the right team. So if your pre-production is well, you know, taken care of, then it rubs off on every other aspect of production.
Interesting. Now, you talked about the legacy that, well, of course, you must have picked one or two things from your father. Now, at the start, I'll get to the fact that you studied economics, but at the start, did it feel like you were taking on a shoe maybe a little bit too large, or was the fact that, okay, Adelove is my father, this should be, you know, a morale boost? Which way did it face at the initial stage?
Well, I mean, it was tough, you know, at the initial stage, because he wasn't here. My father passed, you know, even before I started. So it's not like he was there to say, look, okay, go this way or do that. As a matter of fact, when he was alive, it was something he completely discouraged. You know, so I picked interest because I saw a vacuum, I saw a gap in what was obtainable during their time and what seemed to be the trend like 20 years ago. Because technology changed, and during their time they used to pay a lot of attention not only to details but to every aspect of production. But that seemed to there seemed to be that gap. So I felt that, look, okay, maybe with better stories, like what they used to do, and better production value, maybe we could, I could play a role. And I started with Rakbada, which was, that was what I did with the Rakbada. And the Rakbada seemed to work. And then I said, okay, it has to be better. And that has been it. Interesting.
So it wasn't as if right from when you were young, oh, my father did this, I liked the life, I liked it wasn't a passion thing per se.
No, it was a passion. Look, growing up, of course, as a child, there's no way you want to enjoy that cheap publicity of being a child of a known person. A star, you know. But you're not that man, you're not that person, especially when he's long gone. I mean, it should even be a major challenge. If I started when he was alive, it would have been different. You know, it would have been, oh, he put you on the right path and he gave you everything needed. No, he didn't. So I started fresh, and you know, I believe in myself. I believe in people that I work with, and I believe that I am born to do this.
Interesting. Yeah. I like the part where you talked about better stories. You know. And I've had to talk to a number of authors who believe that having adaptations of Nigerian written, you know, stories would change the face of Nollywood. Do you share that sentiment, and are you thinking of working on our own Nigerian books in the near future?
Look, I mean, there will always be. We all can't go in one direction. Doing adaptation is one genre. All right, some people don't even like those kind of things. Some people like comedy. Some people like horror.
But there are comic books. There are horror books.
There are, but it doesn't have to be an adaptation. What happens to fiction? Complete fiction from a new writer. You know, we have people, I mean, for me, a lot of what informs most of the stories I tell, are things that I see around me. Mokalik, for example, is not a story that a writer will just wake up and say, look, okay, I have this idea, let me put it down. No, you can't. It's something you have to experience. So I experienced it, and I saw the need to, you know, put it into audio-visual. But doing adaptation of books, of course, why not? It's good. But most of the films that I have seen that were adapted, you know, most times don't measure up to the original books. Yeah.
Well, it depends on whether you read the book first or you watch the movie. I've seen people who say you have to do one,
yeah,
you know, before you see the other.
True.
Let's talk about mentorship. Directing, for example. I think acting, when it comes to mentorship, the current actors we have are doing a great job bringing the younger ones up. But when it comes to directing, when it comes to producing, we have so many producers, we have so many directors. But when you see the material they put out there, not so encouraging. What do you think is the place of mentorship for Nigerian movie directors and producers?
Look, producing, a lot of people always get this thing wrong. Here, once you attack the producer, people think you own the film. That's not what it is. Producer is just a manager, all right?
The person who drops the money.
The person who drops the money is the executive producer. The producer is the person who puts everything together. Is the one who gets the actor, is the one who gets the crew, is the one who manages the production.
Okay.
All right? But sometimes some people double as executive producers and producers.
Okay.
A lot of the, I mean, in other part of the world, you know, in fact, a lot of producers don't even have stake in the film. What they do is they hire them, come and produce this film for me. So they look for someone they look for those who can fund the film.
Okay.
And they look for those who can work on the project.
Okay.
And they put them together. And that's why sometimes you see like 5, 6 producers.
Sure.
They probably didn't put 1 naira in the film. All right. But when you see executive producers, they own the film.
That's the money bag.
Yes. Now directing, you can teach directing, but you can only do quite a lot in the basic side to directing.
Okay.
All right. It's something that comes naturally. All right. And, you know, when you say directing, some directors like to focus on actors' performances. You know, I mean, if the actor is more familiar with stage play, for example, a director who is familiar with stage and also film or television, you know, can then come and say, look, this is film, it's different from stage. And then when you want to pronounce this, when you don't scream, you don't, you know. And you also have technical directors, you know, those who focus a lot more on the technicalities, you know, of the film. And then you have people who actually combine both. In my case, I combine both.
Okay.
I'm very particular about, you know, the cast, and very particular about, you know, their interpretation of the role, and I'm very particular about the looks and feel of the film, even the movement and all of that. You know, so you can learn, you can read, you can you know, follow people who are doing, you know, what you really seem to like. But at the same time, you have to be able to, you have to be creative, naturally creative yourself.
I like that. So, in essence now, I wish you had more time. In essence now, you live for the movie, for the film, so to say.
Well, I live for film, and I live for entrepreneurship, pretty much.
So when you're not in the studio, or when you're not making a movie, what are you possibly doing?
I have a clothing line called Ire Clothings.
Okay.
And then I run a production company fully. We do equipment rentals and all of that. Most of the time I do, I talk, you know, I lecture in schools on the side as visiting lecturer. So my life is pretty much art and monetization.
But this is still work.
Yeah,
all of this, I still hear work. How do you relax?
I play basketball like every Sunday
Okay.
if I'm in Nigeria. And, you know, I watch a lot of films.
Okay.
I hang with friends. Yeah.
When you're watching those movies, not
it's work.
It's
That's
not
also work.
exactly.
That's true. But sometimes it's in my comfort zone. Okay. You know, so I try to be as relaxed as possible.
I wish you had more time. I would have explored why bank in the first place before you then moved. But then, I have been speaking with Mr. Kunle Afolayan. It's a great pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
It's back to the studio now. Just stay tuned.